everyone. So today we're going to talk about the garden and how to find your inner garden and start clearing it out so that you can grow. Now you're possibly going on it. Yes, again. People think I'm a great gardener, but to be fair with you, I'm actually not. The biggest idea is if you don't plant seeds, then nothing can grow. And that is also with us as people. So, a lot of the time we're just stagnant and we're stuck in this tiny pot that we can't get out of. And sometimes we actually need to be repotted. And you're like, how do I do that? It's a little bit easier for some people because they've got the resources to move or to do other things, but also looking at our environments and making use of our natural resources around us. For me, people are actually quite boring compared to plants. We're exactly the same. We've got organs, we've got any difference is our hair color, our eye color, and our skin color, which is just pigments due to the evolutionary process, i.e. we lost all that body hair. Do you really want all of that? Skin color went dark because of the sun and ultraviolet rays. It's like beyond those three differences, we're all exactly the same, but the diversity of plants is completely different story. Just behind me here, you can see tomato plants, flowers. I get stalked by tomato plants, so I've got a compost. I just chuck it all away, put it in the compost, and then everything I throw away comes back to haunt me, so I'm very careful at the minute. But when you're looking at plants, there you got from anything from trees to soft cuttings to hardwood to everything. There's so much diversity, and when you start to take yourself out of this human box and put yourself in the greater scheme of life, you'll start to see that actually plants aren't that dissimilar to people, and the diversity isn't actually with us, it's with all the life forms around us. So quickly, very quickly, the similarities of being male and female plants needing cross-pollination. I'd like to say as well, when you put in a very small pot, you kind of need to be put somewhere else. Sometimes you don't like your neighbours. You're just like, whoa, where was I born into? And that's almost a bit like families. You can be born into a family and be like, how did I end up here? Please put me up somewhere else. Others are living in an area and they think, okay, this is pretty cool, but then the weeds get stuck in and they start strangling you and you got nowhere to grow. And that's a bit like life. People can sometimes just get seeded into our little pots and you're like, where did you come from? And they start to strangle your roots from the inside and out. Now, every garden needs a little bit of maintenance. In order for it to grow healthy and strong, it needs nutrition, and so do we as people. Wondering, how are we going to get this? By being more inclusive with everything around us, we'll start to see that we're actually the boring ones in life. When you look around, there is so much going on, and there are so many similarities that if you want to understand who you are, you need to understand the world around you. So, very quickly, I would like to say that some people are aggressive plants and just want to strangle you. Others are a little bit flimsy and weak, and I can only come out when the sun's out. And when you start to break the personalities of plants down, you'll start to see those in the personalities of people around us. And in order for you to find that garden of Eden within yourself, you're going to need to go and look at what weeds are growing in your garden. That person, that troll that's trying to control you, it's not always the government. There's lots of people in our lives who have an opinion, not always based on facts, and they're like weeds. They're like bindweed. They look really pretty and eventually you just go and then they just take over the whole space and you're like, where's the diversity now? See, so when I moved here there was one plant, and I've spent 4 years evolving this space, including things like what's behind me was a bedhead that I decided to turn into a climbing frame, because sometimes plants are really cool, but they just got nowhere to go. So in order for you to really bring them to themselves, you need to build things in order for them to grow up. Old trainers, now it's a bit of a private joke, because in London, if you throw trainers, it's your turf. So this is my turf. Keep off. And really looking at how you can find those similarities between yourself and the world around you, and being more inclusive rather than exclusive of our environments. Because if you think about it, imagine if everything was just bricked up and there was not a single plant and not a single anything on this planet, just us. It would be pretty damn boring. So in order for us to really kick off a funky evolution party, we're going to need to look at the evolution of everything around us, and how that then really creates that garden for all of us to go out and play and to harvest. So, I was never into the garden. I fell into it. I was stuck in the mud, really. And when you've just got to make the best use of things. And I do believe in order for our sustainability as a species, we're going to need to learn how to grow our own food. We're going to need to learn about plants in order for they're our food source. And if we keep segregating ourselves from what actually keeps us alive, how will we thrive and survive? I'm going to leave you with that question for today. I will put my plant psychology and people down below, because I'm sure I've missed a few things, but I think you get the general point. People, plants, the different, they're more diverse than us, is the bottom line. But then it's up to us to be more inclusive, so then we become part of the picture rather than just sitting back and looking at that picture. It is hard work, but everyone goes to work and they do all these things every day. I don't have time for a garden. Plants don't like me. Back to DNA. We just don't speak the same language. So once we start to learn the same language, i.e. LOVE, then we will actually start to become more in tune with our environments. And don't get me wrong, sometimes plants grow in the wrong place. Fine. Sometimes they just need to be moved or just removed altogether. But it's up to us to go into ourselves, look at where our Garden of Eden within us has been overgrown, might need some chopping back, or might need something to grow up. And I hope this helps.